What's up? Good morning, guys. How we doing? Getting around to the future side of things. A little behind today, but damn it, we're here to work and we're ready to rock. My boys over in the Discord held it down. We're all set. So, let's get after it here. We have a bit of a range market here today. I would call this, you could call this either a wedge or a flat top, flat bottom. Either way, you know what I'm thinking. Let's see if we can buy low, sell high mentality. Sell high, buy back lower mentality. Range scalp, head down, get to work. And let's fucking see if we can get it done here today. Manuel, what's up, brother Troutman? How we doing? Sedonia, Vanny, Trade, and Chris, good to see you. Derek, Roy, Javaz, what's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Let's get it done today. Let's at least see what we can do. We'll do our job and accept the outcome, right? All right, we got 15 seconds, by the way, left here on this 2-minute bar. 2 minutes top right, 5 minute is top left. Not a dual rollover. Of course, that is fine. Let's see how we get a close. Ooh, big ugly wick back on the 2-minute top right. Hands off, no trade there. On to the next bar. Let's see what we get. Zay, good morning. Roy, 2 Apex 50K fundeds and 4 100K static evals. Yeah, man, I like the 100K statics. I really do. I think it took me a little time to come around to them. And I gave him a fair shake. Yeah, I don't remember how long ago. But they've treated me well. I like the 100K statics. You have to start the statics slower. If you're trying to get to a payout as quickly as possible, I would say the 50s are a pretty good middle ground for you. But, you know, nothing wrong with having some 100K statics in the mix. Sometimes there might be a setup where it helps to have a static drawdown account or 2 or 5 that you can toss more of an intraday swing on and see and take a big swing. But I think they're kind of slept on. Oh, Vin, boss, how'd your trades go off stream yesterday? What did I finish? Remind me, what did I finish at the end of the stream yesterday? I think I was only up like $1,000, right? We only took 1 trade on stream. I think that was right. I finished the day just under my daily goal. So I didn't hit the daily goal, but we cleaned it up a little bit in the afternoon. Fuck, yesterday morning was slow, man. yeah, yesterday's stream was slow. You know what it was that helped me clean it up? That you guys remember that late day trend yesterday, upside? Here. Let's see. Here, this is a 5-minute chart. This is yesterday. This move, well, was it this move? Yeah, it was this push here. Help me clean up. It was one of those setups that it was like, I just kept recycling contracts, which you guys have seen me do in the series videos. And it was one of those setups where it was like, I have this right. And it paid, all right. You know, it wasn't like a $10,000 trade or anything, but it got me close to the daily goal. Didn't hit it, but got me close. Okay, 45 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar. Of course, this is back on a 2-minute, right? Yes, we are. Of course, this is what I'm watching here. You know, you could draw it like this. Yeah, I'd probably draw it. I don't know, you could probably draw it like that too. Don't overthink it. I'm just gonna leave the bottom there. Again, 5-minute top left, 2-minute top right. New York session only daily chart there on the bottom. Dollar bill. Nico, what is the market context right now as you look at the chart? Range. It's a big old range. Look at the 5-minute top left. You could say bear trend into a bull trend. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree, but I would more so call that a big overarching intraday range. It's really only about 100 points, right? Doing well, Joseph. How are you doing? Dollar bill, how realistic is it to make $1,000 a day with a take profit trader 50K account? So you have to consider the 80-20 split that they do, which I mean, you know, they put that in to make their numbers work a little bit better. It's not really like a split, right? Because they're paying you out from the pool of money. Because a regular take profit trader pro account is a sim funded account, and then they pay you out in real dollars, of course. It doesn't mean your trading is fake, but it doesn't go to the exchange. They pay you out in real dollars from their big pool of money. They do the 80-20 split as a business move, which I'm cool with. I don't care, I get it, to make their numbers work a little bit better. I'm glad they do that, so we have the opportunity. To make $1,000 a day with a 50K account at Take Profit Trader, you'd have to be really aggressive with one account. You'd have to be really aggressive, but it depends on your business model. If your business model is being super aggressive, by the way, 22 seconds left here on this 2-minute bar, top right. If your business model is to be super aggressive, totally cool, but you might churn through some accounts. Okay, now Take Profit Trader only lets you activate, I believe it's 10 Take Profit Pros per month, which is a lot. It's like one every other trading day. But consider that if you're being super aggressive. There's a lot of different business models in prop. There are some that are more conservative, some that are more aggressive, of course. They can both pay. The more aggressive business models are going to have higher expenses, but if you're taking more in payouts, it doesn't really matter, right? You just pay the expenses out of the profit. So what? Yeah, Vin, I honestly can't answer that. I don't have experience really with Top Step. I don't know. Apex, Take Profit. My next stop is going to be Tradeify, probably. Can't answer that. Maybe someone else can answer that for you. Okay, we have a dual rollover coming here. You can see, again, 5-minute top left, 2-minute top right. We have about 50 seconds left on both of these bars. Now, I'm looking at this. What does my brain instantly say? Well, we could look to buy the rollover. But then my other brain is like, yeah, but it's a range, right? It's a range. Remember, we could draw it like this. You could draw it like this. But being that we still have room for a test of the high a day, I gotta tell you, I'm looking at the 2-minute here. You could draw this. In this exact scenario, I gotta tell you, I think I'm more inclined to buy if we get a nice strong close. Now, I'll execute it on the 2-minute, but really it's a 5-minute trade. Let's see here. Come on, bulls, take it higher. Wick. All right, next bar. Back to the 2-minute chart as a focus. Right in the middle of this range, bottom of the range, top of the range. Again, this is the 5-minute chart with a little bit of a wick back. It's small, but for right in the middle of the range, I would want it to be a little bit cleaner. Otherwise, things become less clear to me as far as edge. Okay, so now back to the 2-minute chart as a focus. Minute 30 out. Let's see what we get as far as a close. Toby, good afternoon. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. What are you guys talking about? Hulk Hogan? You guys bullshitting me? What the oh, fuck. Are you serious? That fucking sucks. Damn. All right, we got 20 seconds left here. Let's see how this closes. Right near the high of this range here. Boom, gotta sell it, gotta sell it. I'll suck this down a little bit, I'll drive manually, and let's see here. There we go, position window top left. Sitting short, betting against that breakout succeeding, just looking for a pullback into the range. If we end up seeing nice strong bull momentum higher, taking out the high of day, which currently, by the way, high of day, at least after the bell, is right above 23.4. So if we push through 23.4, I'm cool with that, but if we continue momentum through there and get a nice strong bull close, I'll have to cut it most likely manually. We'll see what volatility does here. By the way, not unlikely we see a pop-up through the high of day, so let's just get that out of the way here and then see how the market reacts from there. There's the test to high a day. No push through yet. Yeah, that's right, Bears. Take it right back into the range. See if we can buy this back. ATR is currently right above 10. Can't make a tremendous ask, but want something reasonable here. Let's see. There you go. Come on, Bears. Little more back into the range. Never quite got 9 points in the money. I'm looking to kind of equal at least the ATR here, which is about 10 right now. Just to make a little bit more sense of the math, at least on this trade. We have the room. Come on, Bears. Let's go. They're struggling, aren't they? Let's give it one more little test here and see. Again, I'm looking to try to kind of equal the current ATR, current average range of a 2-minute bar in the money. Market's making us work, isn't it? Come on, Bears. Again, driving manually here, fingers on the hotkeys. They're struggling. Taz, good morning. Push it. There, a little extra. 10 points. Beauty. All right, 1074. Just under 1,100 bucks. Let's move on. Good Lord, look at those candles. Slow, slow, slow. Young man, if it wasn't a range market, would you use the same signal bar as a long signal bar? We're catching on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That would have been a signal bar to get long. I shorted, by the way, if you're just joining us. See this strong, nice bull close on the 2-minute chart? Yeah, but it's a range market. I have to bet that these breakouts are not going to go very far. That's what I want. I want the bulls to get nice and cocky. I want the bears to get nice and cocky and then bet against them. So in a trend market, if this happens, consecutive back-to-back bull bars, strong, closing near the high, boom, I would have bought that rollover. Instead, I bet against, I sold the rollover, betting on, hey, I don't think this breakout's going to go very far. If it does pop through high a day, fine. I'll still hold it short until we get another strong bull bar closing near its high, in which I'll cut it manually, and then we pull right back into the channel. That was the bet. So yes, you're exactly right. All right, 35 seconds out till a close here of this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. It's a sizable bar, huh? That's an attempted break through this little flat bottom. I'm going to give it one more bar here. And if we get a nice small bull bar closing near the high on this next 2-minute bar, then I'll buy that rollover. Otherwise, I want to see if the bulls are able to take this lower, because we did close beneath kind of what the average of that flat bottom might be. And I want to see if the bulls give up on that, or more likely if they try to take it back into the range. Let's see here. I'm also curious if this had a headline. It's not big enough to have a headline, you wouldn't think. All right, we got a minute, 10 seconds left till the close of this 2-minute. You know, it's really too bad about Hogan, man. It sucks. All right, 40 seconds out. Let's see how we close here. All right, let's put out a stop limit buy. If we get a strong bull close, this is exactly what I would want to see, but it's kind of a doji. That's ugly. That's ugly. I can't justify putting that out. Next bar. Let's see what we get. Redneck, welcome back, brother. How we doing? Doing well. Michael, good morning. Brandon, good morning. All right, minute 15 out here. We have 15 seconds, by the way. Top left till a close of this 5-minute bar. That's a sizable one, that 5-minute. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for the close of the 2-minute bar here. 50 seconds out. This is tough. Because we know, you know, I mean, right? You could also draw flat. So let's watch the close here of this 2-minute bar, 30 seconds out. Let's see if we have more of a reason to maybe take this short. Okay. Okay, still slightly hesitant to bet on the breakout rather than on the range, but the lower this goes, the more that starts to kind of flip. So let's see how we close here. 6 seconds out. Hold it, Bears. Hold it, hold it, hold it. All right, gotta sell that. Gotta sell that. I'll suck this in just a little bit because we're going to drive manually. And let's just see here. We'll see if they bears can get a little bit more breakout. Obviously, you know, we are looking at a range here. But this is a little bit of a bigger bet, by the way. Not in terms of size. Same contract size, but target's a little larger. So I'm going to give it a little bit more room. So Bull's trying to take this back into the channel pretty much right away. But that's barely even a retest yet of that flat bottom. So let's see. A little more dollar amount risk here, a little more potential reward here. Good to have you, Chris. Glad to hear it. Vinny, good morning. How we doing? Now, again, you can't see it on this screen here, but if we look at the 5-minute chart, this whole thing is a range too, right? So for me right now, this is a bet that, you know, hey, maybe the bears are going to backfill, not the entire range. I'm not looking for all that, but maybe some of it, right? Rather than reverting back to this range, because that's some strength out of the bears, at least on those last 3 bars minus the doji in the middle. So we are breaking, well, in the money a little. Don, hey man, long-time viewer, usually pretty quiet in the chat. What steps did you take to cultivate your strategy? What should a newer trader focus on in that regard? A newer trader should focus on the very basic price action setups. The big thing though here is doing your best to apply it to market context and be right 55 to 65% of the time. Now again, that assumes a 1-to-1 reward to risk. To keep the numbers simple, obviously that win rate changes if you're going negative reward to risk or higher reward to risk, but that's also only natural, being that the market is pretty efficiently priced. It's not, of course, perfect. If it were perfect, we couldn't find edge. We can find edge because there are little inefficiencies, right? So that's the big one here. Again, you look at the 5-minute chart, there are 2 bets here. I could have bought that betting that we're going to head back right into this range here. And that was the first trade that I took today, betting on this range. This time after those bear bars, right? I'm now betting on the bigger range rather than the smaller range. So do not have to be right even 85% of the time. Again, assuming 1-to-1 to keep the numbers easy. You really only need to be right 55, 60% of the time, so. But again here, this bet, given that bigger range is of course more sizable than the smaller range, putting on a little more risk here, with a little more potential reward. Dollar amount, right? Again, position size is the same. Currently got 57 micros here across the accounts. Well, Chris, let me ask you this. Wait, hold up. Is this another Chris? Is that 6 Chris's now? I'm a very raw trader. I don't have a solid strategy. I've taken 20K in payouts this year. Okay, good. Chris, I need to know, what are your expenses? You do not have to share if you don't want to. Not big on pocket watching. Kind of weird in my opinion. But if you would like to share, have at it. Typically below accounts after 1 payout due to trouble with closing losers. Any advice? What are your expenses? And the reason I ask if you don't want to share is if your expenses are 80K, then we got to change something. Right? And in that case, if you're not putting out a stop, put out a stop. If you're moving your stop, you know, there are copy trading tools that exist that don't let you move your stop once it's out. Maybe you need one of those. It's like an exit shield. Right? Maybe you need to put the training wheels on to get your discipline to be forced. But if your expenses are only 2K and your payouts are 20K, unless you really feel like you're on the edge of a blow-up day because you're looking at your data and you're like, this has been the anomaly. This is going to revert to the mean and I'm going to blow up. If that's not the case, then maybe you do have edge. Yes, sir, exactly. That is the business model. EV, gotta look at the expected value of your trades. Yeah, Chris, that's good. I guess what I meant more so was your expenses. It's good that they're low, by the way, in life. But I meant your expenses for your prop trading. Are you spending a lot on evals and funded accounts? Because if you're getting a positive ROI, then and you think that the data looks reasonable and you have a big sample size, then you have edge, right? But if the sample size is really small, or if the data looks kind of suspect, as in you think it's been an anomaly and you know that something is coming, you know, genuinely, because maybe you're trading a super, super low or negative reward to risk strategy and you're not using a stop loss and you know that if you catch a trend, it's going to blow you up. That's something to think about. But if that's not the case, you know, if you're getting a positive ROI, that's the goal, right? All right, number one concern right now for me is that, hey, do we turn into a sideways trading range? And I get, you know, caught here short at kind of the top of the lower third of that sideways trading range. That's my number one concern right now. But got to leave it, let it work for now, and we'll manage it if something happens that requires management. Again, a little more risk, dollar amount on this trade, so looking for a bit of a bigger target here. At least compared to lately, which have been small little scalping targets. Chris, no, I typically spend 500 bucks to get my accounts and usually make at least 3 to 5K each time. Usually or on average? I guess I feel like I'm not a good trader because I can't get a second payout despite being profitable. You know, Chris, there's different business models to trade and prop. Some are more aggressive, some are more conservative. Some people will get an average of, you know, maybe 6 payouts per account, but it takes a longer duration of time because they're more conservative. Some people will only hold their average count for 2 to 3 weeks, and they average 1 payout per account. That's fine. They're both okay. The only concern I would have with being the more aggressive trader, taking less payouts per account and churning more accounts, the only concern I would have there is make sure your numbers are actually working the way you think they are. And if they obviously are, meaning you're getting a positive ROI on average per account, then the other concern is, hey, is Apex gonna look at you as one of the people taking advantage of the system and maybe ask you to jump through a whole lot of hoops to continue using them to the point where it's almost not worth it. I wouldn't live in fear of that, but it's just something to think about when you're, again, refining your business model here. Everyone should have a business plan when it comes to trade and prop. So if you kind of feel like your trading is pretty erratic and maybe Apex isn't going to like the way you trade, you know, think about that, because at the end of the day, man, they hold the power and they can just cut you off. So we want to keep everybody happy, but again, do not live in fear of that. The point is to just make money now. That's the point. Hey, Jeff, I'm using micros. Top left, you can see the position window. It doesn't say micros, but those are micros. Yeah, you know, Chris, if that's the case, if Apex is really crucial to your business plan here, then I would slow down. I'd slow down and just make the trades look a little more legitimate if you can. And if it's extremely erratic, you got to slow down. Otherwise, eventually Apex might look at you and say, all right, dog, that's enough. And you want to be able to kind of fly under the radar while also pulling as much money out as possible and become one of their people that they're happy to have, because you're making money in a way that they don't see anything wrong with, right? You're trading responsibly, even if you're scalping quickly. By erratic, I mean like trading really big size, like damn near the full size they let you, adding, recycling contracts like crazy, racking up commissions, again, big size, blowing accounts on day 3, time and time again. You want to be one of the traders that Apex looks at and like, I can use them as an example to advertise our services, and we'll just continue to pay them out as a cost of doing business to get new business, because they're a good representation of what we want our ideal customer to be. You want to be that guy or lady. You want to be that person. You don't want to be the one that Apex in their morning meeting, you know, sits down and they're like, this guy's a fucking problem, man. He's costing us money and he's not a good look for the company. He's taking advantage of us. All right, let's see here. Right there is the test of the 20 EMA on the 5-minute, by the way. This is a 2-minute chart you're looking at. That just happens to pretty much line up with the 5-minute, but I'm not looking at this one. This one is a bigger self-fulfilling prophecy. Again, dollar amount risk on this trade's a little higher just because I'm giving it more room. Potential reward is a little bit bigger because the range, again, by the way, 5-minute chart, the range that I'm looking at is this full range. But let's see if the bulls take it right back into this little guy here. What's up, Pine Tree? How we doing, brother? Not a bad little close there out of the bulls, by the way. I mean, realistically, though, we're still kind of looking at just a back test here of that pre-existing channel, so I gotta leave it for now. Plop, how we doing? Chris K. Welcome back, my man. How we doing? We'll take it, man. That's good progress on 150k eval. All right, Bears, now would be a great time to backfill a big chunk of that range on the whole day. Yeah, where's Quicksilver at, man? We have a lot of new people here, man. Most people probably don't even know of Quicksilver. Quicksilver is a guy who was coming around a lot. I don't know, maybe a couple months ago, and every time he would show up, the market would absolutely tank. Okay, here we go. Let's see. See if the Bears can pay us a little bit here. Someone say Quicksilver like 3 times or something. We're gonna have the legend of Quicksilver. It's gonna turn into like the modern day Bloody Mary for traders. There we go. Fuck. All right, need some more than that though. I put on some risk on this trade. Again, at least as compared to lately, we've been scalping a lot, head down, smaller targets. But this one justifies a little bit more room, so let's leave it and see if the bears can take this lower. There we go. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. Son of a bitch. We need at least 20, maybe 25 points. That's what the 5-minute currently looks like. You gotta keep an eye on that 50% retracement zone that we're kind of trying to push through here. Bull's trying to wick it back, man. Come on now. Yeah, Trade and Chris, just don't tell anybody. We gotta keep it to ourselves here. But yeah, I think we might have. We stumbled on the secret. All right, new 2-minute bar here. You know, sizable wick out of the bulls on this bear bar, about half wick on that bar. You know, but again, I mean, this trade came into it intending for it to take a little bit longer, so that's okay. We got to hold out and try to get kind of our full target. It's part of discipline, right? You put on some extra risk, man, because maybe you can make a little bit more off of a push like this, then we got to let it go. We were what, maybe 18 points or so in the money at best, but that was a quick wick. We wouldn't have been able to take it off there anyway. Maybe at best we would have gotten 14, 15, 16 points. But, I mean, even that, it's not really what I'm after on this trade. Yeah, Dusty, tell them it's none of their business, man. You're doing your important work. All right, Bull's trying to take this a little bit higher. Struggling to do so a bit. All right, Bears, come on now. By the way, if you're just joining us here, if you look at a zoomed out time frame, I can't go off this screen right now. It's my execution screen, but bigger time frame. Yeah, I guess I can show you. Here's a 5-minute chart. This here is a bet on the bigger range. Our first trade of the day was a winner here. I shorted Well, pretty much what ended up being right about here on the 2-minute chart. This is a 5-minute chart. I shorted a strong bull close looking for a pullback into this smaller channel. Now we got enough of a push again on 2-minute chart like this, right? Got short here. I'm just betting to see if we can get some movement back, some backfill into the bigger intraday channel rather than getting long, which I also could have done there within reason, for a pushback up into the smaller channel. So kind of a nuanced bet, right? But let's just see if we can get a little bit bigger of a push, a little bit more of a backfill. Now we have to be aware, hey, does this turn into just kind of a little bit of a wider sideways trading range? If it does, we're sitting short kind of in the middle of what would be that range. So we got to be aware of that. Think of everything here. Right now, in addition to that, I mean, you know that some people, quite a bit of people are going to be drawing something like this. Maybe more like this, right? So thinking about that as well. But letting it do its thing. We entered for a reason. We managed the way we're managing for a reason. Now we let it work. Dusty says, Nico, opinions on using RSI. Yeah, you know, I used RSI. I took it off all of my charts. I completely stopped even looking at it. Maybe 5 years ago. And it was a good decision because, I don't know, man. People go on TV, they're like, the RSI on Apple's at 27, it's time to buy. It's like, oh fuck, these guys, like, I don't know. These guys are just gonna say whatever fits their portfolio because their job is to show returns to their investors so they can get more investors and take more fees. That's the hedge fund model, right? So everyone who goes on TV, they're just gonna say where they're positioned and they're gonna use anything that retail might believe to back their position. In my experience, the RSI was so soft as far as understanding where a market sits that if you're looking at the RSI, you could be off by 8 months, which doesn't help us. And there's bigger things at play than the RSI anyway. So I stopped watching it completely. Maybe 5 years ago, it was a great decision, especially intraday. In my opinion, it holds essentially zero weight. Basically useless. You're much better off looking at price action. Yes, that's exactly right, Vinny. That's what I believe. Now we're kind of right at, if you look at, again, the intraday 5-minute chart, we're kind of right at the 50% retracement point on the day, which of course, you know, can oftentimes cause a little sideways trading range. as average and shorts on that last push get out around break even. Eventually, they're all out, at least the ones who are going to get out. And then that pressure can kind of ease a little bit. But again, I don't want to overthink the trade. We put it on for a reason. We're managing it for good reason, and then we'll accept the outcome, right? Put on the risk, accept the outcome. Most of your trade, at least, especially when you're doing more of an intraday swing mentality, most of your trade is done by the time you enter and set your orders. Then it's just a matter of, okay, if you're doing some manual driving as far as cutting a loss on a strong bull bar, taking profit on maybe a little bit of a capitulation, right? But obviously that means different things if you're looking at the daily or the 2-minute chart, for example. But at least 2/3 of our work here is done. Just a matter of letting it go. Oh, by the way, guys, this is ending. Forgot to even tell you. This deal with code BIG, 80% off at Apex and single day pass, this ends in 11 hours. Okay, so if you're trying to scale, probably want to hit it while that's going on, because that's, I mean, it is a great, it's not 90% off, you know, at Apex, but I happily buy plenty of accounts at Apex at 80% off. 80% makes the numbers work just fine. So that ends today. So hit it while you can, man, over at Apex. Code BIG, B-I-G. All right, let's see if these bears can backfill a little more of this overarching intraday range, man. That's what we'd like them to do for us right now, right? That is not what I asked for, is it? All right, we got 65 seconds out to the close here of this 2-minute bar. Yeah, you watch your mouth, Vinny. You know what I meant. Son of a bitch. All right, well, nice strong bull bar there on the 2-minute. The 5-minute gives us a bit of a better picture here. Yeah, it's a nice strong bull bar on the 5-minute, but it's still an inside close on the 5-minute chart. Of course, this is kind of a mixed trade. This is obviously less of a scalp, a little bit more of an intraday swing here, given the additional risk, additional potential profit here. So it's kind of a hybrid, using both 2-minute top right, 5-minute top left to manage this thing. But more or less just giving it the room it needs and accepting the outcome, right? Not a bad sequence there out of the bulls. Not a bad sequence. Not a breakout though, really. No breakout attempt. I mean, still, you look at the 5-minute chart, you see the look a little bit better. So, gotta let it work. Yeah, this here, by the way, this is a 2-minute chart. I don't know who taught you that, but winners turn into losers all the time. The only way to not let a winner turn into a loser is to take profits really, really early, and that usually leads to really shitty data. Now, there's nothing wrong with negative reward to risk if you build it into the plan, right? But the plan here was to put on more risk with same size. And how do I put on more risk with the same size? I have a longer intended trade duration and a more room, right, to the stop, and looking for a larger profit than I did on the first trade, which was a scalp. That we really were only looking for, 10 points or so. This is more of an intraday swing. Now, the only way to not let a winner turn into a loser is to take it off, 3 points in the money, 8 points in the money, 15 points in the money, which we could do, but that inverts my data, so I can't do that. Starts looking more and more like a range here. I'd like to see another downside test, see how the market acts down there, but let's see. All right. All right, Bears, come on now, baby, get it done. I'm watching this potential here. I mean, a couple ways, right? How's everyone looking at it? Yeah, that's probably an average that people are looking at. What else? Yeah, probably a little flat here, right? Yeah. Don't overthink it. Just draw the fucking average. Toby, that's how many micros across the accounts. Position size. Right, and then obviously the open P&L. Hey, we got South Africa here. I'm trading MNQ, the micro NQ futures contract. Joe, you trading on the plane, big dog? Any particular reason you choose to trade Nasdaq instead of ES? Listen, they're both really similar. The Nasdaq is, I really hate the word choppy because every loser trader uses, oh, today was really choppy as an excuse as to why they lost money. Listen, chop is only a thing if the ATR on a 5-minute Nasdaq bar is like 3 points and it takes 18 seconds to move 1 tick. That's bullshit chop. That's like Asia session. Chop, what most people say is chop is just a range. But to answer your question, ES, if volume is high enough, is oftentimes a little smoother. The Nasdaq's a little more erratic, right? But if we look at commissions, the Nasdaq's a little bit more efficient because 1 tick is a smaller percentage. Slippage and fees, right? 1 tick is a smaller percentage of each move, all else held equal between the two. So slippage is a smaller percentage if you take on any slippage, even though futures are really, really liquid, but sometimes you do. And secondly, all else held equal, Nasdaq tends to move a little bit more, all else held equal, like percentage-wise, than ES. It's slightly more volatile. Now, obviously, as far as points, it's more volatile, obviously, because it's priced higher, right? But percentage-wise, each move tends to move a little bit more on Nasdaq, so again, it makes it more and more efficient, slippage and fees-wise, than trading ES. But if volume is really high, ES, I think, is a fantastic choice. All the OGs trade ES because that was the thing to trade. Now the thing to trade is both, so take your pick. Nasdaq seems to be more popular on the internet because it tends to be a little crazier, so maybe it's more fun for people to watch, but they're both great. They're just really similar, right? Because I'm copy trading across accounts. So I'm really only trading a few micros per account. I think 1 mini for most prop accounts is too big. Now, if you have like 150K take profit pro account, right? And you want to trade 1 mini in lower volatility environments, I will do that sometimes too. If you're just trading it on its own, for example. But like copy trading a bunch of accounts, I think trading 1 mini across a bunch of, 100K statics at Apex, 50Ks at Apex, even 150Ks at Apex, I think that's too big. At least for my business plan. If you have a very aggressive business plan and you churn accounts more frequently, but you trade bigger, have at it. There's a lot of ways to get it done. At the end of the day, if you're getting a positive ROI per account on average, you're winning. All right, new 2-minute bar. No. I'm not that short. I'm 5'1". Yeah, that's right. We got them all around the house. So little Nico can reach the sink. I'm gonna be back in 2 minutes. We have everything managed. We have our orders out. If something insane happens, blow the chat up so I know. I'll be back in a couple of minutes here. There's 65 seconds left on this 2-minute bar, but we're good. We're all managed. All right, back in a sec. All right, baby, we are back. We are back. Not too much change in here so far. Hey, why? Why are you so angry about my trade, brother? Calm down. Chill the fuck out. Trade your trade. All right, minute 24 left here on this 2-minute bar. Looking strong out of the bulls. Looking strong, baby. I can lose just fine, brother. Been doing this a long time. Mario, are you saying daily loss limit? Way higher than what we're at, man. By the way, if we look at the 5-minute, it's actually really interesting because I would probably draw this like that, and then a lot of people would draw this. This is too aggressive. You could draw this, which is now broken. We are back into the smaller range again. That this whole bet here is a bet on the backfill of the full range. So I gave it some room. We'll see if we get stopped out here. You guys are so scared of losing, man. You gotta calm down. Calm down. If you're this scared of losing, how the fuck would you plan on winning? Okay, so it looks like we're probably gonna get stopped on this trade. Now I gotta keep an eye out here. See if there are reasonable longs. However, now that we're back into that previous range, we gotta consider, you know, hey, is there gonna be a flat top? Here. Kind of a flat top. This kind of deal? You know people are looking at those. By the way, that stops us right there. All right, let's move on. We got 48 seconds left here. $35 seconds on this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. By the way, high a day, right around 400, plus a couple of ticks. So we have a dual rollover. Whoops, I'm going to show you guys both. We have a dual rollover there. That's quite strong. I'm going to give this 15 seconds here. Looking at both the 5 and the 2. Top left is the 5, top right is the 2. Yeah, not there. Move on. Let's give it one more bar. Let's see if we can see a test of that high of day right around 23.4. It looks far, but it's real. I mean, we're 5 points away. Kind of tight. Yeah, Christian, so I was looking at that, and the answer... Where am I? The answer is this kind of number. Right, it's a range market. Trends are less likely to form, at least going past what you would consider the range. You'll have intraday trends, like we've already had here. You could say... You could maybe say bear trend, bull trend, soft bear pullback, bull trend. But we're not in a trend market. They're not going to go very far. And if they do, it's likely because we had some kind of change, right? Markets they have inertia, they're resistant to change. Now again, that's not good enough to just short any pop, because it's like, well then how do you manage it, right? Because maybe it goes an extra 40 points, which still is not going very far as a breakout, right? So still gotta wait for a setup, but there you go. There's the pop through to high a day. Took out a few stops. Maybe gave you about 4 points of rocket fuel. That's about it. Kind of surprised that's all we got there out of those stops, to be honest. All right, minute 15 left here on this 2-minute bar. We got about 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the 5-minute bar. Hell of a bull curl up out of that hole. We should keep an eye on this. Okay, though, you know, I'm not going to treat a kind of a sloppy line as gospel when we have actual price action to watch. So we're 25 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Man, hell of a push. You got to give it to the bulls, man. Pushing us up out of this hole. All right, so I will get ready here. And we will get a stop limit buy prepared. And let's see here. I'll plop it because it's a big body. Comparatively speaking, I'll give it 15 seconds because I would not say that's an A plus setup, but I'll give it 15. It's maybe A minus. See if we get a fill here. No fill, gotta pull it. Gotta pull it, next bar, minute 40 out. And actually we got 40 seconds left here on the 5-minute bar. So what I will do is let's go ahead and switch this over to a 5-minute chart and watch the closure of this bar in 25 seconds. Similar idea here still. Got to keep an eye on this, right? Which is why, rather than using a limit order to enter, I will look to use a stop limit buy. We'll place that. Give that the necessary time, see if we get fill. This one I'll give closer to, 20, 25 seconds. All right, and we are in, just in the nick of time. Go ahead and adjust the risk here. Pop that guy up. Extend this out a little bit. All right, see if we can get a little bit of a continuation push. Again, this is a 5-minute chart here now. Executing that trade off the 5-minute. Nice 5-minute setup here, so we switched over from the 2. Now again here, ATR on the 5-minute is at 15. It's not tremendous on the 5-minute, but it's not extraordinarily low, right? So this setup here calls for maybe a little extra time. So we'll give it to it. Also, by the way, increases the dollar amount, risk, and potential reward, which is cool. Beej, do not take into consideration that you're longing into all-time high, overnight high, and prior day high. No, I'm trading the price action. Much more important to me is the range, the look as, the range right here. So this is much more important to me, this kind of thing. What kind of argument do people have right now? That's an argument, right? That's a bear argument, which I look at first, even though I'm sitting long. Okay, but with a push like this, you have ever-increasing bull bars closing damn near the high. For me, that's a long. I don't give a shit that it's all-time high. I really don't care. Everyone's terrified of all-time high for some reason. It's just a trade. It's at all-time high for a reason. If the momentum is there, if the price action is there, It's a different strategy. Buy high, look to sell back higher. Shorting an all-time high is not a strategy. So it's not a strategy to cause you not to take a price action trade either, in my head, right? Now, if you don't want to do that, don't do it. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Shomisha, just saw your message. You started logging my trades today. Good. Also started utilizing stop limit entries today. Good for continuation. Ended up profitable today. And I even have the data to start tracking now. Good. All very good. Yeah, when a market is heavily biased one direction, meaning in whether it's a trend market overall, which we're not in, we're in a range market, but intraday, of course, we're seeing a little bit of trend movement, right? Stop limit entries are great. They're great, especially if you kind of want that extra added maybe confirmation. Doesn't mean you're going to be right necessarily, but if you want that extra confirmation, it's helpful. Like in that case here on this trade, you know, we get a nice strong bull close, growing bull bars, consecutive bull bars through the high. There's still this argument, of course, right? If this argument was not there, I would have bought that with a limit order. I said, I want a little extra confirmation. So I set a stop limit buy right above. Got filled. Bears are trying to pull it on back, but that was a good, for me, that was a good entry. Yeah, you know, that's the beauty, Mark, is you can have different opinions, man. You can both be right, both be wrong. All right, John, have a good one. All right, now we have to be aware here. In the market lately, since it is a range market, some of these harder trends have turned into sideways trading ranges, which we've talked about a lot, of course. So we got to be aware to see if that occurs here. Damn right, John. All right, here again. Hey, still watching. Hey, does this turn into a sideways trading range? Of course, if it just pulls back. We haven't been seeing that a lot lately. Honestly, today's been kind of interesting because we've been seeing that a little bit more. But if we look at the zoomed out version of the 5 minute here, hard push downside, pretty much a hard push back upside. Lately, what we've been seeing a lot of here in the current range market is hard pushes oftentimes eventually get met with sideways trading ranges, and then they make their decision. Hard push, sideways trading range, then it makes its decision, right? Kind of a soft push, sideways trading range, then makes its decision. So, keeping that in mind here. Good to have you, Fourths. Global, good to have you. All right, now again, most of our scalps as of late have been executed on a 2 minute chart. Of course, this is not so much a scalp as it is, call it a longer duration scalp. You could call it more of an intraday swing is what I would call it at this point. Since we are giving it, more space, more time. But this is a 5 minute chart that we're looking at right now. We switched over because the setup was there on the 5. Here. There's where I currently sit. Okay. Taking out a little bit of heat. That's okay. That's a look. All right, we got to consider. You know, Mark, it's dangerous to be this cocky about a game that's 60-40. Don't do that. Don't be that guy, brother. This is a 60-40 game, big sample size game. We are the casino. A lot of people play this as if it's 95-5. Just makes you look silly. Okay, so I'm still paying attention here, right? Potential look. It's not gospel. Not gospel, just trying to get a feel for, hey, what's everyone kind of looking at right now? Okay, so still on the 5-minute chart here. Again, we had to switch over from the 2 because the setup was here on the 5. So things slow down a little bit here on the 5, at least as we perceive them, right? But I mean, looking at the 2-minute, this is back to a 2-minute chart. A lot of slow little kind of dojis, wiki bars here. Matthew, just price action. Just price action. Stop limit buy. Growing bull bars, consecutive bull bars. Breaking through the high of day. Closing near the high of the bar. I want a little bit more confirmation because of this number. Right? Stop limit buy. 1 tick or 2 ticks above that wick high. Got filled on this bar here. Which of course looks like, wow, that was a really bad trade. That was a good entry for me. But there you go. There's the thought process there. Oh man, this 2-minute, man. Hey, what are we looking at as far as I don't want to switch while I'm in the middle of a trade here. But there is a 2-minute chart. Anyone have the ATR of a 2-minute chart right now? Drop it in chat, let us know. ATR of a 2-minute chart based on the last 10 2-minute bars. I'd like to know where that sits. Might still be holding up because of these guys, right? About 9, huh? Alright. Alright, yeah, we're sitting right about ATR on a 5 minutes, maybe 15 and a half. Goodness, it's already 12:39, man. Day's getting away. All right, well, small bull body on that close. Essentially what I would call a doji. So next bar here. All right, let's see here. We got kind of a fresh bar here. We got 4 minutes left on this 5 minute. By the way, there's a zoomed out version of the 5. If this does end up pulling on back through the 20 EMA, stopping us around 75-ish, all of a sudden, I mean, it's like, well, you know, this number, some people might draw this, though that's getting so wide that you got, you know, kind of got to hold off on that. But it starts to make you think, right? Like, hey, are we looking at this smaller range that was in here widening out and turning into its own range rather and basically forming back into the full day's range? That would be my thought for the rest of the day. If we lose this trade, which of course, let's see. All right, here's the test. The 20 EMA on the 5. Sue you here. I don't want to call these big swings today because, you know, obviously a couple months ago we had like a $10,000, couple of $10,000 swings, I think, on stream. But compared to what we've been seeing normally, couple of bigger swings today as far as putting on risk. This trade and the last one not going so hot. But I mean, listen, guys, hey, sample size, right? 2 trades. The hell kind of conclusion can you come to with 2 trades? It oftentimes takes people, you know, 12 trades to realize, hey, we're not in a trend market, we're in a range market. So that last trade here, the last trade, of course, I took it on a 2 minute, but I got short here. Hey, maybe we backfill the whole range, turn more into an ascending bull channel. Got long up here. We'll see how this turns out here. But if we end up seeing this pull back into that same ascending bull channel, then we got to listen to that channel, right? Put our head down, trade the channel. At least that's what I would do in the afternoon here. But we still, you know, I'm still not so sold on that. We got to see how this plays out. That's the total. Total position size. Copy trading. Copy trading prop. Micros, that is. All right, what are we looking at with ATR? Still 15.5, man. ATR's staying pretty damn steady here. Corey! Good to have you. Appreciate you. All right, well, I'll tell you what. We're managed, man. I'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, I can't sit and wait any longer. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back. Ah, yes. Holding and praying. Can't you see how stressed out I am? Man, if I lose this trade, I don't know what I'm gonna do, brother. You guys are nuts. Do you think we average the trade and put one more contract? Well, I mean, we aren't going to do anything. But I might average in some cases. I don't really plan on it on this trade. But I could average in on a strong bull bar closing near its high. Whether I'm in the green or in drawdown. It would have to be a trade that I would take on its own, though. Is stress too much, man. The job needs to be stress-free. You sit here, you make the best decision you can, you accept the outcome, and you go on to the next. This is a big sample size game, man. We're all emotional. You're not going to make it, I promise. Okay, ATR, by the way, on a 5-minute chart is currently sitting around 14-ish. So, a little slow, but I mean, hey, listen, it could be 7 this time of day, so I'll take 14. Stops at 75 and a quarter, by the way. 375 and a quarter. That is my stop. Okay, we got a minute 42 left on this 5-minute bar. Same on the 2. Gonna be a dual roll over here. See if the Bears can take it down through 380. Again, stops at 375 and a quarter. All right, Vin, have a good one, brother. Artney, cut it out, bro. That's a bad entry. Hope you're trading a sim account. No, these would be prop accounts. 57 micros. And how about I do what I do? I can do what you do, and then I get the result that you get. So I'm gonna do what I do. This trade's taking its sweet time. Thing's pushing my day back, man. I gotta hit lunch here. But we gotta let it do its thing. Let it work. Do you read the tape? How important is level 2? It's very important, both of those things, if you're trading small cap momentum. If you're trading futures, this is a very deep market. I'll often make the comparison trading small cap momentum. Volume, such as, you can kind of lump all of it into volume. You can lump the tape, you can lump the level 2, volume itself. You can kind of call it all volume in a way, right? That's like your depth gauge. If you're sailing over a coral reef, not a very deep market, right? Small cap momentum stocks. You should probably keep a damn good eye on your depth gauge. If you're sailing in the middle of the Pacific futures, yeah, you can keep an eye on it if you'd like. For me, it's not really at the top of my list of priorities for mental capital. So, no. A little different on futures. Sure, I shorted from your long. Probably did pretty well. Just curious why you longed, because it was a clear short based on resistance. Clear as in what percentage are you confident in that? You're never going to get better than 70-30 probability. 90% of the time, you're not going to get better than 60-40. If you say, oh, it was an obvious long, I say this all the time to you guys. If someone's like, oh, it was an obvious long, it was an obvious short, you know that they're newer, or they're not doing very well, because that's very silly. The probability is never better than 70-30, assuming a 1-to-1 ratio to keep the numbers easy. 90% of the time, it's never better than 60-40. If it was an obvious short, if it was so obvious, there would have been no buyers up there. right? So who are you selling to enter your short position? If it was so clear, the market would cease to exist if it was obvious. Have to have both sides, right? Right. Yeah, Hasher, listen, you were taking a scalp. This, for me, is more of an intraday swing, which I think is the disconnect here. For me, for an intraday swing, I'm giving it room, right? I'm putting on a little more risk. Like, what is this for me as far as risk? Let me get an exact number for you. Yeah, we're looking at maybe $4,500, $5,000 of risk, which is well within reason for me to put on for an intraday swing. Now, if you're looking for a 10-point scalp, well, we're taking different trades, right? All right, well, decent couple of closes as far as the 5-minute chart out of the bulls there. Well, here's where we sit, by the way. But slightly shrinking on the 5-minute chart here. Slight shrinking bull close, but clean nonetheless. Which, you know, don't hate to see it. All right, there's an attempted push into the intraday high. That's going to be met with a little bit of selling, of course. Again, range market. We are not in a trend market. Can't expect those to pop through instantly. Bro, you should start gambling. It's already what we're doing, man. Isn't day trading just gambling? No, it is not, as much as everyone would like you to believe that. So you don't try, and you don't surpass them. You can use the market as a casino, don't get me wrong, man. You can easily cross that line. 100%. Most people do. But if you're tracking your data, You have an ounce of discipline. It's a different game. All right, back in 2 minutes. I need some water here. I'm dying. All right, back in 2. Don't go anywhere. All right, we're back. GWX. Actually, I let it go 33 points. Not 32, I let it go 33, baby. You guys know how to do math. You can only make money if you have a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. You watched the YouTube video. Good. Come on now. That's silly. Tromisha, what is a solid reward to risk ratio? It doesn't matter. It depends on what your win rate is. It does not matter. You can make money with a 2-to-1, with a 1-to-2, with a 1-to-1, with a 20-to-1, with a 1-to-75. It does not matter at all. Your win rate has to come into the equation and equal statistical edge. Everyone spews. Oh, man. You're only trading 1-to-1? Or you're only trading 2-to-1? I trade a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. It's like, great, that doesn't make it better. What's the win rate? It means nothing without the other side of the equation. But it sells on YouTube, I get it, because people want to risk a little to make a lot. It's very easy, by the way, to hit that part of the human brain. I refuse to make videos about that because it's just misleading everybody in a way for views, which doesn't do anything. Getting some clicks does nothing. Unless you make money off AdSense, which AdSense is a ridiculously low percentage of how much most people on YouTube are making. Unless that's your business model. No, Miko, I did not say it. I don't use the word choppy market. People say, today's really choppy. Yeah, because you lost, so you say it was choppy. When I lose, I say, I just fucking lost. It's not a choppy market, it's a range market. Right? It's a range market with a slight, soft, intraday bull trend is what we're currently looking at. That's what it is, right? By the way, guys, heads up, this ends in 9.5 hours. It ends today. So code BIG, Apex is giving you 80% off, which, I mean, I personally pay for my accounts. You guys know that. And I buy plenty at 80%. Numbers work very well to average a positive ROI per account at 80% off. And you can pass in 1 day, so you don't have to spend a bunch of fucking opportunity cost in the eval. Which, listen, hey, if you haven't taken payouts, you should spend some time in the eval. But if you're taking payouts consistently, opportunity cost is a big deal in the prop business, right? All right, guys, well, this trade is managed. I have my orders out. We'll see as far as time. Maybe I'll manage it and do a little manual driving, but for now it's getting late and this is pushing my day back hard. So I'm gonna leave these orders out. I'm gonna hit lunch, probably sit it here and eat it at my desk actually. And see if I need to do anything. Otherwise, I'm gonna let it work. Dips and Peaks just joined. All right, brother. All right, guys. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll see you in the morning. If you have not done so already, we have a bunch of new people here. Hope to see you become a regular in the chat. Subscribe if you have not done so already. But for those of you who don't know, the YouTube algorithm does not work the same that it did 3-4 years ago. They're now showing you what you interact with. So if you want to make your life easy, just like the stream and then get out of here and it'll pop up for you. At least it should tomorrow morning. So you don't have to go searching. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hey, listen. Losing streaks. I can tell, man. A lot of you guys can't handle it. You want to be a trader? You need to be able to lose, fuck, 2 in a row, let alone 20 in a row if you need to. That's part of the game. There are always anomalies, and they're going to come. Okay, that's why trade small, scale horizontally. If you're trading prop, trade small per account. Scale out horizontally so you can take drawdown without blowing everything, at least every week. And then beef up the sample size. Okay, if you have edge, it'll play out in the long run. That's the game. All right, understand the game. This is about edge and big sample size. This is not about winning and losing. It's about having an edge, putting it on, having discipline, and moving on. All right, guys. Hey, again, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and I will see you guys in the morning. Send out the week strong, Pharaoh Friday. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.